Hello everyone and welcome back to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth and I am sitting in my parked car. We're not moving. Waiting on Elena to get her stuff in the car so we can go on to church. It is Sunday morning and I get them on the weekends and they spend the week with my parents and go to school with my mom, where my mom teaches. That way they don't have to do an hour and 15-minute commute one way with me. But this is one of those things where you see how unhinged I am about the importance of middle grade literature. I went on a rant in the last video, but I'm almost constantly thinking about it. It is a great passion in my life to make sure that people understand what and why middle grade literature is/exists, why it's important. Yeah, so I did go off on a little bit of a rant, but I'm literally sitting here in the car, and as I was walking around this morning, I kept thinking about things to research, things to talk about, things to write for my program, all of that. See, little bits in her seat. She said hi. And I wanted to talk to you very briefly. This is going to be much shorter than the last video. But I wanted to talk to you about a word that had not so great connotations to begin with. And so it's kind of a dividing word, and that is diaspora. Now, diaspora is the movement of people or a culture from one area to another. The reason it had, I'm sure you can guess, the reason that it had not so great connotations to it is because a lot of the time that diaspora is forced. Like people being kidnapped from the Caribbean and the African continent and being brought over, Ghostbusters, and being brought over to the Americas as slaves, right? And so their stories, their culture was dispersed throughout the Americas because of that. Native Americans on the Trail of Tears, that created diaspora. The Jews having to either being forced to flee or being taken during the Holocaust, that forced diaspora. We also have diaspora just via immigrants. However, it doesn't just mean the movement of a people. It is the movement of a people, a culture, their music, and their stories. And if you have not read a lot of middle grade books, you've probably at least heard of Rick Riordan and the Percy Jackson series. So the idea of the pantheons, the Greeks and the Romans, the Norse, etc., all of those, that is a dispersion, a diaspora of stories from different cultures that have moved across, and they are very westernized, right? Well, Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky is the first book in a trilogy by Kwame Mbali, I think is how you say his name. And it is part of the Rick Riordan Presents publishing segment. And it is a boy who is an 8th grader who is going through a lot. And he ends up going to Alki, which is the world of the stories from African culture. And not only does he meet like Anansi and the gods that would have been part of the culture prior to them being pulled over, he also meets folklore heroes that have become gods. John Henry, for example. Gum Baby is in this series. And I absolutely love the way that Kwame Mbali has treated diaspora. He also mentions the word diaspora as the movement of stories in book 2. I'm in the middle of book 3, by the way. It's really good. I highly suggest you read this series. But it got me to thinking about how the movement of stories is going on today. I don't know very many kids in the middle grade age group that don't watch YouTube or TikTok. Stories are moving and being dispersed in many new ways, and different ways cultures are clashing and combining, and sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's not, but they are dealing with a lot of things that we did not have to deal with, and that shows the importance of middle grade literature. Because that one who's peeking over the edge of my seat trying to be sneaky and get her face on the camera there, she's 10. She doesn't watch TikTok. She doesn't have TikTok, but she watches the TikTok videos put on YouTube Shorts. She watches YouTube. Yes, we do watch and make sure she's watching things that are okay. But the disbursement of stories, sometimes you don't quite catch things. And we need to have literature that the kids are enjoying reading, that catch them like a video might catch them, like a show might catch them, but can also help them see what kind of things they need to be on the lookout for. And also the importance of those stories being brought forward. We used to have it in the oral tradition, and I think we're going back to a more oral tradition with the way that the internet is moving stories along. But no matter what kind of tradition we're in, the diaspora of stories is important, and it is especially important when you are attempting to figure out who you are. And that middle grade group, that's where that starts. Little kids, they know exactly who they are, and they know that they're going to grow up to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a pet porcupine who works on the moon. Like, they are there. But by the time you get to about 3rd grade, you realize that's not going to happen. Probably. I mean, science might catch up and let us do that, but right now it's not going to be a thing. And so they are trying to figure more things out. And the disbursement of stories and the mixing of cultures, the diaspora of things moving and being taught, they help. It helps our kids learn more about themselves and their cultures, but about their friends and their friends' cultures and who they want to be as people. It's highly important. If you didn't know the word diaspora, now you do. Put that in your vocabulary. It's very important. All right, I gotta get these guys to church. I will talk to you guys again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there.